Right now we are tracking two systems that will make their way across the U.S., bringing lots of rain and wind to the Midwest, as well as the Northeast and even the Ohio River Valley. On the other side of these storms, we will have severe weather set up in the Deep South for a second round of storms, and we may even see considerable amounts of snow in the Southern Rockies and even in the Southwest. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Here, right now, to start off, we're just going to focus on the jet stream. You can see we have a big trough right here, almost in a horseshoe shape. That's making way for some low pressure systems that are expected to bring some more severe weather to the south here, with some more dreary and just rainy weather with some wind in the Northeast, even into the Midwest here. The eastern Midwest. May even see some snow here in the Southwest and the Southern Rockies. May see up to a foot plus. So basically, with this trough in the jet stream, we have two disturbances that we are following right now. We have one here set up in the Midwest, central Midwest here. That's drawing up some moisture from the Gulf here, which is bringing us some stormy weather in the Deep South. That's actually breaking out right now for parts of the Midwest and down towards the Gulf Coast. We've seen a few tornado warnings in Louisiana today so far. We also have the next one that comes on in around Wednesday night and the Thursday morning. See, we're beginning to form here around the Texas region, northern Texas. Again, we'll be finding a lot of this moisture. See some more severe weather in the south. So yeah, this is just way in here, which comes in for the mid to latter part of the week. This is the same one that's going to bring us that severe weather that is likely to be worse than the severe weather we're seeing right now. So likely more severe. So to bring this severe weather risk as we work our way from Wednesday into Thursday. But it's also bringing us more moisture. That's also going to bring us that threat for heavy downpours here, as well as some high winds, possibly even some tornadoes. We also have strong level winds here, helping to transport that moisture in. So you can see right here, start out in the Midwest. It is likely to move northeast here, bring a lot of, you can see the severe weather we have going on right here in the southeast, in portions of Louisiana, southern Mississippi, maybe reaching Alabama here. Again, the severe weather risk is not going to be as great as it is on Thursday. You can see here in the Storm Prediction Center outlooks. So like I said, right now we're seeing some of the severe weather. We're seeing some tornado warnings in southern Louisiana. You can see the higher risk right now is set up in southeastern Louisiana. Really it's along the Gulf Coast right now because a lot of that moisture is bringing it in. But the low pressure system is very far off into the Midwest, so it's not going to be as strong as it is on Thursday. Wednesday, we almost have a break that day when the second system moves in on Thursday. Wednesday night and Thursday morning, to be specific. That'll bring some more severe weather to the Deep South. You can see here we have a higher risk. But as of right now, it's mainly in southeastern Louisiana. Also switching up into southern Mississippi, maybe even southwestern Alabama, mainly along the Gulf Coast. Again, we saw one tornado warning. It really wasn't much. So we're seeing the severe activity right now. Should be much, much worse on Thursday. That's something we're certainly going to keep an eye out for. Severe weather set up right here in the Deep South. Mainly going to see it in southeastern Louisiana. Low pressure system up here bringing a lot of rain to parts of the upper Midwest. As for flooding, it's really these same areas that are experiencing the severe weather today. But it's really just going to last through Friday. We're going to see this flooding after rounds and rounds of storms are going to cross through these areas, especially throughout the month of March. We're seeing a lot of severe weather activity. Many supercells will on through a lot of these areas. Many tornadoes as well. So it's just been raining, so the flood threat is certainly there, considering all the precipitation they received this month. So really, it's going to be southeastern Louisiana, south coastal Mississippi, and southeast Alabama. Even the western panhandle of Florida is in a risk for this flooding. Some of these areas we've been calling for 3 to 5 inches. So we have a lot of rain to come along with these storms over the next few days. So it's just going to move across here, bring a lot of rain to even the northern plains here. Eastern South Dakota, a lot of Minnesota, southern Minnesota is going to get a lot of this rain. But this may switch over to more snow with the second disturbance it's going to move on through. Again, we can see a lot of severe weather beginning to develop here in southeastern Louisiana. Maybe even see some water sprouts pop up here in the Gulf. We'll have to see. So like I said, right now we're at the surface. Already seeing winds about up to 25 to 30 miles an hour in some of these areas. Gusts even up to 40. Places like St. Louis, even Kansas City. As well as when it gets up to Chicago. Chicago's already seen these higher winds. So we're going to set it this afternoon. So it's going to see very high winds here. Possibly up to 40 to 45 miles an hour. It's periodically at certain times. So again, we can see we have very well-defined low-pressure system here. You can see these isobars here, very tucked and close together, bring a lot of this higher winds to some of these areas. So a lot of wind for the Windy City today, as well as Cincinnati, Ohio, when it gets to this area into the northeast. Northeast is also going to see a lot of wind. You can see here in the drought monitor that some of these areas do need the rain, where soil has been dry lately in Minnesota, portions of Illinois, as well as even some areas of northern Ohio, northern Indiana, but you'll certainly see some rain in these areas. especially in Minnesota and Iowa. See, it's we really need to rain here in northwestern Iowa, but not necessarily Grand Island, Iowa. That's where we don't really necessarily need it, but we do have rain that'll build up across this region. You can see it works its way up here to the northern Midwest, bring a lot of this rain. Although the next system that'll move on through, this track will mainly be moving northeast into the New England area, but this one will mainly be seeing a lot of rain and wind in the Midwest, as well as the upper Midwest here, if we get into the northern plains. But you can see some of this darker green, indicating more of that heavy rain. I mentioned the winds that are already picking up. You saw that sustained winds are about 15 miles an hour around Omaha, Nebraska. So winds are already around like 15 miles an hour here in Omaha, Nebraska, as well as Kansas City, towards Minneapolis, where they're gusting over 20 miles an hour. We even have gale warnings that are in effect for portions of Lake Superior, meaning those wave heights are getting pretty high. You'll notice the rain will also continue to move towards the north, into the UP of Michigan by the time we make our way into this evening. This gives you an indication of just how warm the temperatures are, that we're not tracking any snow or ice with this. But you can see a lot of below average temperatures in portions of the west as well as the southwest. I'll get into that later. We may see some snow on Thursday, even into Friday. But right now we're just going to talk about this current system we have. By this evening, we're going to get a lot of rain and wind in these areas. So really not any snow or ice for the upper Midwest, but for the northern plains here, even in the northern Minnesota, we may still see some snow mixed in with some of this rain as we get into the overnight hours and temperatures begin to drop. We can see this cold air that's beginning to take place in some of these areas. Get a little further. You see some of this cold air beginning to take place. This is way up in the northern plains of Minnesota, eastern North Dakota, even South Dakota, and eventually up in portions of Michigan. We might end the system off with a bit of snow in northern Wisconsin. The winds will still be a serious issue. There may even be some power outages if the winds get too strong. In places that are saturated in parts of Missouri that have had too much rain lately, this might easily cause some trees to topple over. Kansas City is already at 25 to 30 miles an hour. St. Louis can even see 40 to 50 miles an hour. So these higher winds cannot be ruled out. But even tomorrow on Wednesday, winds will still be blustery across the Midwest. We're also watching the rain impacting the U.S. across the northern tier. So some of this rain will actually be a part of this system. May bring a lot of rain here to the northeast. So if we look down here, we see another system beginning to take place. We can see a lot of this heavy snow in portions of northeastern New Mexico, where those southern Rockies are. This will be a lot of snow. You see a lot of this dark blue here. On the other side of this will be a very dynamic system. This one brings a lot of wind, although this one will bring a lot of moist, severe thunderstorms, well, possibly even some supercells that can produce tornadoes. That's certainly not out of the question. So, with this first system to move through, basically parts of the Ohio Valley, eastern portions of the Great Lakes, this is where we will see generally rainfall of 1 to 2 inches. As we head into Thursday, our first system will essentially be moving up into Canada here. Just still bringing some snow to southern Canada, even portions of northeast Minnesota. But here's the second one I mentioned that will actually move northeast. But the threat for severe weather will be a bit farther south, but as you head northbound, we'll see more steady rain that's going to be encountered. By Friday, our low pressure heads up into the Great Lakes region. The second one that we're seeing. Let's move a little bit farther into Friday. See right here in the Great Lakes region, which is where all that moisture will continue to work its way up the east coast, which will mean lots of rain for these areas. Again, we'll have to keep an eye on things when it comes to winds that may start to really pick up across sections of the Great Lakes region and the Northeast. On Thursday, we'll just backtrack a little bit here. We're looking for rain showers with a few storms, as well as back down towards Louisville, Kentucky, Columbus, even Cleveland, Ohio. As you can see here, a lot of these storms beginning to form. Once it's finished bringing more tornadic activity to the south, it'll then move northwards, bringing some thunderstorms here to Tennessee, Kentucky, possibly even Illinois, Indiana, even Ohio. To move into later Thursday to Cincinnati and Columbus, Ohio, we even see some storms, as well as portions of Indiana, central Indiana. We will mainly see rain, although there will be a small zone there will be a section of rain and snow trying to mix in with parts of it in south Wisconsin and the portions of lower Michigan. Otherwise, it's mostly going to be rain that we will track. But on Friday, it'll continue in Friday, where Buffalo and Syracuse will see a lot of this rain. Let's move it up a little bit. See if we can move right over here. Seeing a lot of rain beginning to build up in some of these areas, especially as we get into New England. But like I said, see here in portions of Wisconsin, even to Michigan, may see some snow, especially northern Michigan here. In the Great Lakes region, this is when we'll see more of those cooler temperatures. Go ahead and move it up to Friday here. By Friday, we can see a lot of those cooler temperatures begin to move in. So again, we may see some snow here in portions of Wisconsin and Michigan. You can see these systems will bring in some fronts here that will just push all this warm air out and make some more of this cooler air in, especially a second front, which does not make good for these thunderstorms here in the south. It'll be another line like we saw just last week. By Friday night, it'll spread into New England, where the zone, or in this area, it may be a little chilly enough to even see some rain mixing in with some snow. It's expected to not add up to a whole lot. But the severe weather is likely to affect the same areas I got severe weather last week in the deep south. I'll go ahead and move it back a little bit. It's mainly going to be set up on Thursday. Zero is marking just last week. We're marking the date here. I'm pretty sure it was on Wednesday when we saw the severe weather outbreak in the same area that we're going to be seeing now. It'll mainly be set up across central Mississippi, northeast Louisiana, west-northwest Alabama, and central Tennessee. So again, very similar locations to what we just saw last week. So we're expecting widespread severe weather that includes damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes. We're going to be a risk as well. Some of these tornadoes can be of the strong variety. Greatest threat for tornadic activity is expected to be here in the afternoon on Thursday. And then it starts to decrease, and then the threat begins to decrease as we get into the overnight hours. The wind shear is certainly here, as well as instability. You can see here. This is in central Mississippi. By Thursday afternoon, we have winds out from the south at 27 miles an hour. That's what they're expecting. Until you move up to about 5,000 feet in the atmosphere, this direction will change quite a bit, as it will now be coming from the south-southwest, screaming at around 72 miles an hour. So there's plenty of wind shear that will be available for when the severe system moves on through. To sum up, we will have this wind come up from the Gulf of Mexico as we have a funnel boundary just stalling out across the Ohio Valley. That'll be just one focal point for more showers or some thunderstorms repeatedly over this area in the upper Midwest. And then the next warm front that'll lift. But once the system moves out, we will have the next warm front that'll lift up across the northeast as we head into Friday. So between the warm air and cold front, that is where we'll have the instability and energy needed to get some of these showers and gusty winds around the area of this low pressure from the Great Lakes into the northeast as well. So here in the northeast, we may not see tornadoes like they're seeing in the south. But we can certainly see some storms possibly sneak in, as well as very high winds with these colder and warmer temperatures, especially in this area right here. You can see very above average temperatures, then it will suddenly drop just on the other side of the low pressure system. So it'll really be lifting this warm front and pushing it out. But here in the south with this wind shear, that's an extra ingredient. So we're likely to get more of an updraft here. So tornadoes are certainly possible for this area. Mainly seeing an enhanced risk for these areas. Not as bad as we saw last week, where we actually saw a high risk, the highest we can possibly get. But an enhanced risk is still very high, so we'll have to see how it's going to play out on Thursday. So like I said, we'll have the instability, as well as the wind shear, as well as the Gulf moisture moving on in. So tornadoes are certainly possible. We really have the energy needed. So as the second system moves on through by Friday, it'll move on right here through the northeast into the New England area. This is the GFS model. We're not seeing as much snow here. Let me go ahead and check out the Euro model and see if there's a difference in the snow. This is by Friday. Oh, so if anything, it's more north. It may have actually changed the last time I saw it. But what we might see here in portions of the northern New England area, we may see a frozen variety of precipitation along the northern edges of this system as it moves into the northeast by Friday night. But by Saturday, we have a little winter remix setting up here for portions of the northern New England area. This is around Saturday, especially in portions of Maine. I'll go ahead and check the GFS model again. So this is early Saturday morning. Yeah, we certainly see some snow here in northern New York, even northern New Hampshire, northern Vermont. Just northern New England area, the very north point of this storm. So it will be the tail end of the storm we may see this snow. This tends to happen on the back end of storms once the new front moves through and we get a lot of these cooler temperatures, but it typically does not add up to much to when we first were beginning to see this second system develop by early Thursday into Friday. See it right here. Before it moves into the deep south and brings the severe weather, we're going to see more winter weather here in the southern Rockies. So it's going to get into that right now. Here it is about 1,001 millibars. This is by late Wednesday. It really doesn't look too developed yet, but as we move into Thursday, that's when we're beginning to see it. So Denver has already been seeing a lot of snow this year. I believe it puts it in the fourth most snowiest March they've seen, compared to records broken in the 80s. So just yesterday we saw spring snow that blanketed the Denver metro area. We had over half a foot in some areas. We can expect a little more powder to fall into tomorrow as well, with some additional snowfall coming into the night. May add up to a couple of inches here. May potentially get up to 3 to 5 inches in the Denver area. But a bit more will fall as we head off towards the south into northern, especially northeastern New Mexico. See it really beginning to gather here. This will probably be the worst here, where we may see totals up to the double digits here, possibly up to a foot. So we may see more, really a half a foot in Denver area. I know yesterday we got a little higher than a half a foot, but mainly today more of the snow will be falling in the southern Rockies, not so much the central Rockies. So maybe a foot or more in parts of New Mexico, to develop at around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. Just moving on through the evening hours, where we'll start to see some of this filling in parts of Aspen, Colorado. That'll back down into Durango, Colorado. But places like Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Albuquerque, we'll be seeing the snow as well for early on Wednesday morning. So on Wednesday morning, they're beginning to see it develop. They may be seeing a little bit of winter mix beginning to form. Maybe some more snow off to places in New Mexico. But mainly by later Wednesday and then Thursday, it'll see more of that snow. But it'll finally taper off around the Denver metro area once we get into Wednesday morning. But everyone should see things frying out by Wednesday night. May see some more lighter snow showers, but that should be the end of it. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. These are the two systems that we're tracking right now. So, more severe weather, more wind, more rain, possibly even more tornadoes. Still got that spring snow for parts of the Rockies. They're really not catching a break with that. But March is the time of year they really see most of that snow around those areas. So, hope you guys enjoyed this update. Be sure to like and subscribe if you are new. I do updates weekly. Sometimes 2 updates a week. It really depends. But hope you guys enjoyed this. See you guys in the next one.